right. Hello. Hi there. Thanks for jumping on. We'll just wait a couple of moments before we get started. I can see I've got a few more joining us now, which is great. Everyone, please get settled, grab a notebook, and let's get ready for a productive rapid fire session. We'll get started in just a moment. So thank you for joining us today as we kick off the first session from our four-part webinar series, How to Test Your Product Content Before You Launch, where we'll show you how to run split tests on your product feeds to maximize campaign performance and get the most out of those advertising efforts. So look, here at Athos Commerce, we exist to turn every shopper interaction into growth. With our feed and management syndication functionality, we work with leading Australian and New Zealand retailers to optimize offsite product discovery for impressions, clicks, and conversion growth. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get into it. This session is being recorded. So all of you that are on now and that have registered will get priority access to this recording. Keep an eye out for that in the inbox once we've wrapped up. This session is the first of our four-part series, so really hope to see you the same time next week as we run through how to track full funnel e-commerce performance. Look, we likely won't have time for questions being a rapid fire, but please feel free to pop these in the chat as they come up for you, and we can get to those after the session. Awesome. All right, let's get into it. So let me start by introducing your product discovery experts today. I'm Alex Ross, Senior Business Development Manager here at Athos Commerce, and I'm joined by Chris Esler, also a Senior Business Development Manager here at Athos. Chris, how are you going today?
Great, Alex. Great. Pumped to be here. Pumped to kick off the first part to this webinar series.
We're going to set the bar pretty high. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited. Why don't you kick things off?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Alex. So yeah, first thing we want to talk through here is obviously part of what we do is audit a lot of digital feeds. And so what we know is that up to 80% of products can actually be invisible to shoppers. And it's largely down to just poor product data. Yeah. So going back to the feed audits that we do, we actually see that around 70% of those feeds have missing or inaccurate data that's obviously impacting visibility and then only pushing up ad costs. So yeah, what we'll run through today is obviously the testing piece to this. And so you might be thinking like, why should I be running tests on my product data? Our campaigns are performing well. The feeds are doing what they need. Unfortunately, we see it all too often is that data feeds are really just set and forget. Yeah, we know advertising's getting more expensive. The landscape's getting way more competitive. So we need to be having a look at like what small changes can we be making to drive incremental gains. Yeah. And that's what we can do is look at testing and refining product titles, images, and product types. So then you can maximize visibility and turn good campaigns into great ones. Cool. If we have a look at product titles first, yeah. So I want to challenge a lot of people on this call to have a think about the last time you made a change to your product titles and what impact did it have, yeah? We want to make sure that product titles are simple, they're relevant, titles need to be clear, they need to be descriptive, and they need to have all that essential information up front. Yeah, we need to have a look at product titles on web versus product titles on mobile as well. So those short versus long titles. But then also make sure that we're focusing titles on the products, yeah, and using Google's tools for the discounts and offers. So again, go and have a look at your product titles and start looking at A/B testing, how they were, how you may have inherited them from someone setting them up in the past to look at those, how you can make things obviously bigger and better for this Black Friday.
Totally. And A/B testing those assumptions, like you said, having inherited a previous feed, do we know that current structure is truly the best structure for you?
Yeah, 100%. And we'll run through a few examples of some of the tests we've run on titles. So this brand here, they're focused on optimizing their return on ad spend and revenue, but they didn't actually have the brand in the title. So what we did is we ran tests on two different product sets. We actually saw a lot better quality traffic hitting the site. And obviously, what you can see here with the revenue, it was a 40% uplift, all by just including the brand in the title. So if you're not doing it, start having to think about how a small change like this could have a big impact. The second one here, this brand was interested in improving visibility. So they didn't have sneakers in the title. What we did, we ran a test, injected this. You can see that there was an uplift. There was 300,000 more impressions. So just a small uplift. But through that, there was also 30% more revenue as well. And then the final one that we've got here is a brand that had the exact title match to what was on their website. Yeah, so think about like a black skinny jean. What we wanted to do was test the difference between having jean versus jeans. Yeah, we know that, well, me personally, if I'm looking for some new jeans, I'll search for jeans. So what you can see, the uplift across the board was massive. Yeah. So what we can do there is recognize that this is a positive change. We want to make that a permanent change really easily.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's so interesting, adding an S, and we've seen additional 8K in revenue, right?
100%. Small change, big difference.
Absolutely. And particularly taking these learnings ahead of any future product launches too. So jackets, for example, are really interchangeable learnings that you can apply moving forward. Awesome. Thanks, Chris. So product type attributes, not to be confused with Google's categorization attribute. Product type attributes are really like hashtags on Instagram. The right ones get you discovered, the wrong ones leave you invisible, right? So firstly, it's important to make sure that you've included 3 to 5 nodes of high volume search terms within this attribute field. So these nodes really should encompass relevant terms like brand variations, gender, size, color, and specific product types. So for example, instead of just dress, looking at maxi dress, long dress, red maxi dress, dress for a party, dress for a prom, to capture more of that search intent. When really considering those variations, looking at synonyms, right? So as I just said, long versus maxi, a really great way to broaden reach and capture the different ways in which people are essentially searching for the same product. But then further to that, we're seeing a lot of success with our clients adding more seasonal terms to the product type attributes. So things like Black Friday sale, Black Friday deals can help target those shopping trends and make the most of that increased traffic around that event, sale, or trend as well. Now, a few things to avoid. Make sure you're not misclassifying products. That can have a negative impact on your performance. So really ensuring product type accurately reflects the item, but also avoiding using existing attributes. So this really needs to be high intent keywords that aren't resonated through the titles and everything that we see within that feed. So to give you some examples of the tests we've run on product type experiments, first one here, Mother's Day. So really key seasonal gifting event, right? So including Mother's Day gifting and keywords around that within the product type optimization, you can see we saw a 66% increase in revenue, really massive for this business, and doing these tests well ahead of Mother's Day itself. So then they can make this real permanent leading into that more key traffic period. Another example, this is one of my favorites, using Coachella and festival wear synonyms within the product type attributes for one of our fashion brands. Really great way to capitalize on that lift in traffic around key events. So you can see here 44% impression increase, 42% click increase, and 52% revenue increase, which is more important, obviously. And then the last one, really good call out here for women's intimates. So this is one of those products where there are so many synonyms, so many different ways in which people talk about women's intimates, bra, bralette, brassiere, for example. So we did a lot of work to start to capture those different synonyms within the product type attribute. And you can see here, the results really speak for themselves. 202% increase in revenue is really strong.
Yeah, there's some massive massive wins there, and like Obviously, product titles and images are in your face. It's what the customer's seeing. So product types, it's really that hidden growth engine. Yeah, it's like having a Michelin star chef in the back of restaurant. They can have a massive impact on your campaigns. So we have a look at product images. Yeah, so really you've got seconds to win that click or get scrolled past. And again, challenge you to think who thought of the current image, like what tests have been done to see if you couldn't be lifting conversions. Think about things like lifestyle shots versus product shots, styled versus simple shots. And we know that obviously having high quality images build trust. So as we lead into Black Friday, we want to start thinking, is there a different image that could capture more clicks and start running tests? Make sure that obviously well ahead of Black Friday, we've got those tests being run. So when we hit the peak time, we're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on this point too, really bringing different teams together. So we know that the creative team is, focused on that shoot and that imagery. So how can the trade team bring those learnings from A/B testing different product images, passing that on to the creative team? So then for future launches, you've already got that content, knowing that's going to perform really well in Google.
Yeah, good shout. Not everything's sunshine and rainbows. So obviously, yeah, a lot of the examples we ran through had really positive impacts for businesses. But what you want to do is be able to monitor these really easily. So obviously, this example here, we're seeing a lot of red. So we want to make sure that you've got the ability to turn these off if things aren't going the way that they wanted to. And so yeah, obviously, if this is something that you're keen to have a chat about ahead of Black Friday, like reach out to us, happy to run through and show you how this all works.
Totally. Look, really great example of testing those assumptions. Sometimes they're not positive, and that's okay. That's a learning in itself, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So look, identifying what resonates with shoppers when thinking about, okay, how do you structure your product titles? What are those product type attributes and images too? So really putting yourself in the shoes of your own shoppers. I really like the scenario on the deck here, talking about a shopper searching for men's white medium tee. So you'll have some shopping ads that will include medium within the title. You'll have others that don't. So for those that don't, there's the risk that you pay for the click, the shopper jumps on, and you don't have medium. So not only have you wasted your own money, you've wasted your shopper's time, and now they're now going to convert on one of your competitors' site compared to those shopping ads where they've got the size attribute in there. So there's that confidence from the shopper, right? And then also speaking to some of those examples earlier, how do you use key events, key moments, whether that's within the retail calendar or broader, to capitalize on that increase in traffic around these events? So yes, Black Friday, Vogue online shopping night, Click Frenzy, those promotional events, and then thinking about that gifting season, Mother's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day, as well as festivals, back to school, those types of moments that we can really lay out and update our product type attributes and titles ahead to capture the most of that traffic too.
Yeah, it seems a lot, and obviously that's where you'll be leaning on your agency and someone like us to make sure that all of this is getting fine-tuned in the background. But obviously, I mentioned it earlier, feeds just can't be set and forget. Yeah, advertising costs are going up. So just the same way as you're continually iterating on your site, you should be doing the same with your feed. Yeah, so you're seeing what's actually moving the needle. Obviously, your products need to be everywhere shoppers are. You need to make sure that it's structured for those different channels as well. There's no errors, they're all up to date, so you're not having any disapprovals. And from there, it's all around wanting to look at like what you can do to drive incremental performance. Yeah, so looking at things that how we can get better revenue, we can get better click-through rates, return on ad spend. And obviously the whole reason we do this is, and why we do it is that testing piece, yeah, and using performance data to obviously set you guys up for success, both now and in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And look, like it's a good point, making sure that you're set up for success in the future. So we know that search is always iterating, always changing. There's lots of conversations around those LMMs or ChatGPT. as it stands, we know having good product data will set you apart. So making sure that you are optimizing for now as well as future proofing that business. Now we are nearly at time. We've covered a lot. We would love to cover more. So please feel free to scan this QR code for a live audit of your current feed. We'd love to run through those areas that we see for optimization and how we can help to start to structure some of those tests for you. So Chris, thanks for joining me. Everyone else, thank you for being here. We hope to see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.